Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Millennium Dawn with me, Alpha by Omega, and Ukraine. So, in between the last episode and this one, I have made some coffee and checked the news. I mean this with a heavy heart that I have to say that it has been confirmed that the city of Kherson, located here, has fallen into Russian hands. The mayor of Kherson confirmed that on his Twitter account, so I think that is confirmation enough. On the other hand, it took Russians 7 days to get from here to here, which is not much of a success in my opinion. And I have read a number of positive news on the other hand today about Ukrainian armed forces. One of those was that they're starting their first offensive today, which is kind of a big deal considering that they have been on the defensive this entire time. Another one was that they managed to bomb one of the convoys that were bringing supplies into Ukraine to supply the Russian arms. And the news from Russia itself aren't that good. It is confirmed that the Russian central bank today has announced two things. First, there's stopping payments on part of their foreign debt, which is usually the last step before state bankruptcy. They still have a number of steps to get there, but no one has expected that to be that quick. And another one was that the Russian central bank doesn't have enough liquidity anymore to protect the ruble. So if it continues falling in the coming days, there's not much anyone can do with that. Not that it wouldn't already fallen enough. It lost, I think, like 1/4 of its value. And unconfirmed news that I read said that in the eastern parts of Russia, euro is now valued somewhere between 200 and 250 rubles. So, yeah. Anyway, we're going to continue with our campaign. So, we started researching the national focus EU policies, and that will give us 150 political power. In the meantime, we are working on excavation 1 and 2 and construction 3 because we want to increase our output of the basic economy. Now, I'm not sure what to do with the debt. We're already nearly at the 90 billion, which means that the debt rate is going to increase soon to 0.01, which again is not that much of a big deal, but we're still, not making enough. I don't want to increase the taxes, but I might not have another chance to do so. Well, what we're going to do here is we're going to wait for the political power to increase, then we're going to go with widespread corruption and see how much of an effect that's going to have. And if it doesn't stop us, then we're going to invest the EU policies points into our tax rate. That is probably going to kill our civilian production, but well, not much we can do with that anyway. So let's go. Let us go. Now we're still producing the audit equipment, don't worry. That is still the Krivak class 2 ship here. And then we're going to start on the Krivak class 3 frigate, which is going to be the third one that we're going to have. I should also check on the, what are they called, torpedo boats? I think they're, no, corvettes. Our 10 corvettes. Russia attacks our influence in Georgia. Well, I don't mind that much. I don't mind that much. So what are you guys doing? Fuel usage, light piercing torpedo attack. They do have some light guns free. How much would that be? What was that? Anti-aircraft missiles. They could get 2. Could get them a better radar and better everything. Okay, so that is refit 1260. Okay, but that would massively increase our capabilities, so we'll have to do that eventually. I think once we build the third frigate, we can look into updating our corvettes. That sounds fairly reasonable, doesn't it? Oh hey, you can actually get some trades. Why isn't the game showing that to me? Okay, so one of you is leading the frigates. I don't think those can actually lay mines, can they? No, they can't, so no point in putting that in. Can you sweep mines, though? You can, but not much. I think some of these could be minesweepers. Wait. Show me those... oh, wait, like this. Show me those ships. So no minesweeping here, no minesweeping, no minesweeping. Okay, so that makes absolutely no sense to get then. So I think you could get the concealment expert. And it's probably going to be... no, let's get you a lone wolf, because you're leading the frigates. Austrian election. Western outlook. Sozialdemokratische Partei Österreich. SPO. Okay. So that's pretty good. That is pretty good. We're still losing money there. Not much we can do with that, really. 90 billion in debt. How great is that? Okay, EU policies, but we're getting close to being able to strike the corruption. Petro Poroshenko and his Naval will soon have a big impact on that. Portuguese elections, Western outlook, okay. Okay, our independence is 38%. I think it increased slightly. Stability of the regime is 74. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. EU policies are going, and research is going. I haven't checked on... damn, they still didn't get from that with the pocket here. Come on, states. I'm expecting so much more from you. Establish a military base. Interesting. We could do that. Okay, so we now have enough political power to change the systematic corruption to... I wonder if there is any reason to even go with a bigger corruption. And lower stability... well, you're getting less political power, so that's the only thing that I can imagine. But this helped our stability. This should help our budget as well. It did, okay. It increased it slightly, but not by much. And what else? Research speed is increased. We no longer get a penalty to ideology drift and counterintelligence. No, actually we get a bit of counterintelligence penalty, but not much. And yeah, foreign subversive activities efficiency is not increased anymore. Good. So we gained a bit of our autonomy back. Happy to see that happening. Happy to see that happening. So 103 days to construction, 315 to get the multi-volt carbon nanotubes. How are you guys doing? So we're missing 108 man pads. So in about 100 days we'll be fine. We're missing about 383 or 82 vehicles for our army. Damn, we're nearly at 10 guns, 10 small arms per day. That is good. And the command equipment is also improving. That's good, that's good. So Swiss election. Scandal as Christian Levrat suspends elections. Just as the opposition was looking to win in the elections, Christian Levrat, Western Outlook, suspended the final counting of votes and stated that the opposition has colluded with hostile foreign operatives to steal the elections away from the Swiss people's tensions. From the Swiss people. Tensions are rising in Switzerland, and Christian Levrat looks likely to lead the nation for another term without a democratic mandate. Really? So Sweden is turning totalitarian. Social Democrats. Western outlook. That is interesting. Well, let's see what that's gonna be like. Having a totalitarian Switzerland is something that I really... One would say that you need a bit more in Switzerland to overturn the democratic elections, but obviously not. Damn, they actually have a specialized tree here. Strengthen the government, join the United Nations, the Mountain Fortress, Geneva Industrial Project, fighter equipment. Well, they have a ton of things they can do here. Swiss Protection Wing, Innovate Austria, NATO investments. Okay, well, good for them then. Counterintelligence. We don't actually have an intelligence agency, do we? Yeah, we don't. Okay, well, we managed to slow down the increase of the debt. Not by much, but at least by a little. This is going well. The EU policies are fine. Still nothing with the Iraqi war. Oh wow, South Sudan is actually defeating the, what was it called? Khartoum Caliphate. A socialist outlook. And socialist democrat. This is socialist conflict. So the border seems to be moving rapidly in either direction. And they gain something, they lose something, but this was definitely not part of South Sudan. That would be kind of interesting to see if there was just like one Sudan called South Sudan, and the Congo war is going to end soon, I guess, as well, or the Democratic Republic Congo war. Congo is a different country, so I shouldn't be mixing those two up. I'm well aware of that mistake that I'm making, but okay. So Guinea is at war with Liberia now. It's interesting. China joins the World Trade Organization. After a long negotiating process with the existing members of the World Trade Organization, WTO, China has finally achieved a ratification of its application to join the World Trade Organization. China has had to demonstrate to the members of the WTO, especially the United States and the European Union, that it is making notable steps towards opening up its economy to competition. Chinese state media hailed this event as a historical moment in China's reform and opening up and the process of modernization. I forgot how backwards China was just 20 years ago. Joining the WTO was a big thing there. So we get the EU policies, which give us additional 50 points. And as you can see, that gives us nothing because we're not part of the EU at this point. So what else can we do? This would cost us money, which we desperately don't have. I could go with the new points in the UAF. That's additional military industry. So let's do that. And then we're going to turn our attention back to the reforms. Because the year is going to be 2004 soon. So we're in line with the timeline. New points for the Ukraine Air Force. The Ukraine Air Force has horribly outdated fighters and very weak maintenance crews to keep the planes in perfect shape. We should shop abroad for new planes to rearm our Air Force. So Podolia will add one military industry and we get National Spirit Fighter Production Bonus, which makes everything not that much cheaper. I'm more interested in that factory, to be quite honest, but fine by me. Well, I think that instead of raising the taxes, I might just go ahead and lower the corruption even more. We're getting what? Still 1.75 per day. Is there anything else? The national revisionism is not what I wanted. The revolution of the dignity, uniting the opposition. Anything here that would give me more political power. The Western doctrine did. I want to... Yeah, I wanted to... NATO standards are definitely something that we would like to get, because that is historically what was happening now in the past few years. Hyperloop project, really? Why do these cost so much money? Damn. Damn. This is all so expensive. Deal with the oligarchs. Economic recovery program. Fight against bureaucracy. Okay, so these will give me privatization and promote state businesses. So these would help. So maybe we will go with the Orange Revolution, and then we are going to... Well, then we're going to see what there's to see. 50 days towards the construction, and we're starting to be very short on technology metals. How bad is that screwing with us? 7.5. Oh god, wait. I thought this was an upgrade. That's a production? That was... Did we produce another ship? Oh wow, we did! We actually produced 3 of those. I had no idea. Okay, so we now have 5 frigates. Cool. How did I miss that? I thought it was the upgrade. Okay then, I guess it wasn't. So you know what we could do? We could just upgrade those now to Krivak 3. It would take 9 days to complete. So let's refit you all. Okay. Wait, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm reading this wrong. Okay, something's wrong, but never mind. They're gonna upgrade, we're gonna check that, and we need some good names for the ships. I have to figure out something. So after you're going to be refitted, we are going to look into you. Okay, so you're refitting. Yeah, Pride of Crimea is going to be the first tier 3 Krivak class that we have. Again, in line with the history, which is perfectly fine by me. Why are you struggling so much with this? That's so weird. I'm pretty sure that the original conflict was much faster. And call me surprised they really are losing this war against South Sudan. I was not expecting that. That is interesting. No conflicts in or around Burma. Gotcha. And our production is going smoothly, it seems. Only roughly 5,300 small arms necessary now, which is good. So Maltese elections, Western outlook. Okay. So the Pride of Crimea has been finished and upgraded to Krivak class 3. Nice. Nice. And I'm thinking, because we do have the Navy experience, maybe we could just see if we can get the new torpedo boats up and ready. Or maybe see if we can design some better ship altogether. Helicopter operator. Destroyer. We don't really have a destroyer, any of those. So let's see how much that would cost. Now, well, these are mostly anti-air, aren't they? Or Krivak classes. Yeah, anti-air, and not that good in fighting. Luxembourg elections, Western outlook. Subdetection is also pretty good, so I think the destroyers could be anti-ship. How would that work? So let's put you light guns, free. Turret missiles. This is anti-air. Anti-ship missiles 1. Okay. And here we could put more light guns. Okay. Batteries. Light guns free. Point defense system. Anti-air and HP. Only CIVS. Let's go with CIVS. Auxiliary slot. More point defense system or turret missiles. Let's get some anti-air here, and here we can put the sonar 4 and radar 4. Digital integrated fire control system. So the production cost of this ship will be extremely high. Fuel usage will be lower and we'll get bigger speed. Early reactor. Is that a max speed, fuel usage, production cost? I think diesel powered engine sounds like a good idea. So let's name these. Name this one Kiev class. Am I writing that correctly? I don't. The spelling in various languages is so different. So wait, Kiev is. Am I looking wrong in that? Yeah, Kiev, just one. Okay, like this. Kiev class. New points for the UAF. Oh, I don't have enough XP for that. Damn. Okay, so Kiev class will have to wait then. Not much to do with that. And that extra factory. Oh! We're done with the manpads. So you're gonna go with the command equipment, which unfortunately increases the amount of stuff we're missing, but what can you do? A national focus is freedom. So Ukrainian armed forces, division attack, division defense, it's actually pretty good, but I don't think it's necessary at this point. No Western doctrine available, and nothing here. So I think we really don't have much of a... No, actually we do. We still have a bit of time, so let's go with the... Scientific advances on the Ukrainian church. Okay, let's go, you know what, let's go with the Revolution of Dignity. Let's see what they write in here, and then I'm gonna speak a bit about what happened, because that's one of the biggest topics in Ukrainian history. So the Revolution of Dignity. The Revolution of Dignity, or Euromaidan Revolution, marks the beginning of a series of riots and revolts that advocated for the closure of the European Union Association Agreement and the reinstitution of the 2004 Constitution. The matter at hand is Ukraine. The matter at hand is Ukraine is above all. The West is where we should align. So basically what these demonstrations are infamous, and Russian propaganda really likes to paint them as organized by United States and so on, but it wasn't really that. The issue with the Revolution of Dignity that happened in 2004 was the fact that the elections that happened in 2004 were found so forged that the highest Supreme Court of Ukraine has actually cancelled the results and removed, because it was a presidential election. It was between, and I always forget those names, but it was, I think, Yushchenko and Yanukovych. Those two should be. And I think, yes, Yanukovych was the original one, and Yushchenko is the new one. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I'll have to read about that and correct myself if I was wrong. But basically, the old president was re-elected in such a forged way that the elections were cancelled, and people started demonstrating because the president was pro-Russian. And once after this demonstration, Yulia Tymoshenko, as a prime minister with, I think, Viktor Yushchenko was the president, set Ukraine on a Western course afterwards, and the original president was removed. So it was basically about not following in the steps of Belarus in the way that they forged their elections so badly. So yeah, that's why it was so important, and why Russian propaganda hates that is simple. By doing this, Ukraine actually made sure that their election would be free and they couldn't be forged. And that's something that, of course, hurt Russian interest, because the president that was removed was quite pro-Russian. So yeah, that's what it was all about, and why many propagandists hate that. So let's start with excavation 3. Progress in geology helps us determine the location of resources. We can now focus our extraction efforts in places where there is a greater chance that large amounts of natural resources will be found. So we need that for the economy, basically. Hey, actually, why do we have that much steel? Oh, because we're not using it for construction. Okay, gotcha. But it's, that's fine. So the regime is at 78%. Yeah, we could pretty much remove Donbass if we went with one more support campaign. That would be pretty good, but I think, yeah, we definitely need to take the budget into consideration. So I'm gonna do that first, and then we are going to deal with Donbass. It's kind of interesting that they call it Euromaidan Revolution. Actually, that's the Revolution of Dignity. Maybe I'm mistaken here. I might have to correct myself, because there were two things that happened. There was one in 2004 and one in 2014. And the one was called the Orange Revolution, and one was called the Euromaidan. And this is maybe the second one, though in the institution of the 2004 Constitution, I might really be mistaken. This might just be the 2014 revolution. This might be what's confusing me, because Euromaidan was a 2014. And that might be... Well, what I said about the 2004 actually stands. That's not a mistake, but I'm not entirely sure what the Revolution of Dignity... Because the original one was called the Orange Revolution, so I think this... Wow, South Sudan was really annexed. Sudan was puppeted. Yeah, Sudan is now a puppet of South Sudan. That's really interesting. And we finished the multi-volt carbon nanotubes. So, nanotubes are used for conductors in electrical apparatuses, antennas for radios, and other electromagnetic devices. So do you want to go further? We do, don't we? Modern electrospinning. And once we finish the excavation, I'm going to start investing in our first military technology. Electrospinning is a fiber production method which uses electric forces to draw charged threads of polymer solutions, or polymer melts up to fiber diameters in the order of some 100 nanometers. Okay, I have no idea what they just said. That's really weird. But you can see that our excavation is working fine. So, Sudan has capitulated. The Sudanese... Oh, okay. The Americans finally moved out of the pocket and they're winning their war against Iraq. The Sudanese government has gone into exile and their main forces have capitulated to South Sudan, who is now in control of their home area. Although the struggles between South Sudan and Sudan are over, South Sudan is still at an all-out war and the fighting continues elsewhere. So, moving back to the original topic, what happened in 2004 was what I mentioned. And what happened in 2014 was that the president was supposed to sign an agreement with the European Union. But instead, he flew to Moscow, and when he came back, he said he will no longer sign the agreement and signed an agreement with Russia instead. Now, what happened next is that people went to the streets and started violently rioting in support of the Western outlook of the country. It took quite a lot of time, and Petro Poroshenko, who is our president right now, was involved in this, as he's a Ukrainian, I guess billionaire is the right word, and he funded these demonstrations by making sure that people have enough food and water and everything. And eventually they elected him as president, and the original president ran into Russia in disgrace and was removed. So I think that's what they mean, the revolution of dignity. I'm not actually familiar with this term. I'll check that before before I do the next episode. I'm gonna do one more today, so I'll take a small break and double check my terms. I know that one was Orange Revolution and the other one was Euromaidan, and I thought that the Revolution of Dignity was speaking about the 2004 one, but maybe I'm mistaken. By the way, as a retaliation for these demonstrations and the removal of the pro-Russian president, Russia invaded and stole Crimea from Ukraine. And it's quite well recognized that this was just like a punishment for their siding with the West. So Iraq has capitulated. The Iraqi government has gone into exile and their main forces have capitulated to the United States, who are now in control. And Saddam Hussein was captured. US forces today captured a bearded and haggard-looking Saddam Hussein in an underground hideout on a farm near his hometown, Tikrit. The arrest comes within months after the US troops swept into the Iraqi capital and brings an end to one of the most intensive manhunts in history. In a televised address this afternoon, US President Bill Clinton said that Saddam will face the justice he denied to millions. He said that the former Iraqi leader's arrest marks the end of the road for him and all who bullied and killed in his name. However, the president also cautioned that it does not mean the end of the violence in Iraq. Well, the persona of Saddam Hussein is very interesting, but if you don't know much about him, I would recommend, after you read a bit about him, look into his son's history, because that is just crazy. That is way crazier than whatever you can read about Saddam. Saddam was he had a really interesting history as well, but I'd recommend reading on his sons as well. Okay, so as it is quite far away for us to get the Revolution of Dignity and the technologies, I'm going to end the episode here. I'm going to go check on my terminology in regards to Ukrainian history, and then I'll be back in the next episode. I'm going to explain if I was speaking correctly or if I mixed those two events together and what is there to say about that. So thank you very much for joining me. We are starting to get our army in order. I have to say, I'm happy about it. I'm still gonna let the man pads go for a bit, and once that is done, I am going to, well, I am just going to put that production, I guess, into the command equipment, because that one is now the one that is bothering us. We're gonna get this one in about 1.5 years, but this one is gonna take a while, so we need to look into that. And as an end to the episode, we finished our ship's modernization, so we'll have to name the 3. Do we have 3 extra ships that are unnamed? Yes, so I'll figure some names while I'm checking on the history, and we'll speak about that next time. So join me then.